You're listening to the Ask Ava podcast, where we give real answers to real questions from teens and young adults about relationships, consent, dating violence, and more. I'm Jessica Scoltetti. I'm an outreach and prevention manager at Safe and Sound Somerset. We are Somerset County, New Jersey's lead organization for domestic and sexual violence services and prevention, and we have free services for children, teens, and adults. So today's question that we get pretty often in classrooms is, Dear Ava, what is the purpose of your safe house? And today we're joined by Safe and Sound Director of Outreach and Prevention, Joelle Piercy. Hi, Joelle.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. So I'm going to throw this to you first if you want to start us off. The question is, what do you do at the safe house? What's the purpose of it?
Absolutely. So Safe and Sound Somerset believes that everyone deserves safety, right? Everyone has a right to safety and deserves to live a life free from violence. Unfortunately, people do experience violence. Unfortunately, a lot of people experience violence, whether it's sexual violence, sexual assault, domestic violence, right, in their relationships. And sometimes if people feel that they need someplace to go where they can get away from that violence, there needs to be a place that's able to receive them, right? That's able to understand what's going on, even if we don't understand everything, but at least have compassion for what's going on and believe them, right? Believe them. And so what the safe house is, it's literally a place where people can come and be safe, right? It's safe shelter, it's food, it's supportive staff members, right, who are there to create an environment where somebody can recover, kind of reassess and plan next steps, right? So it could be, let's say someone is feeling unsafe in their homes, their partner's threatening them, so they need someplace to go that night where their partner doesn't know, because maybe they've tried to go to their friend's house and their partner's found them there, or maybe their partner has taken all their money away and not let them work, so they don't have funds to go get their own place, right? So it's a safe place that it's confidential and no one knows where it is, right? They call our helpline and are given that information to access that safety that's away from the violence that they're experiencing.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people ask us too, well, how long do people stay there? Usually it's a 30 to 60 day stay. That's part of being at the safe house. And as you mentioned, Joelle, another question we get a lot is about, like, where is the safe house? And it is a secret location. And when people come there, they're asked to shut off their location on their phone. They're asked to not share the location with others, to make sure that the other people in the safe house, as well as staff members, are safe.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, one of the most dangerous times in a relationship is when someone's leaving. And so that's why it's extra careful that our organization and every safe house similar to ours, it takes that confidentiality of the residents, of the location, of the utmost importance, right? Because our primary goal right then is safety and a place of refuge, right? And so it is for anybody who has been experiencing domestic violence, sexual violence, right? It's for adults and their children, right? So that we do get families, right, when they're coming to our safe house. We can accept anybody regardless of gender identity, sexual orientation, right? Any type of survivors welcome in the safe house, right? If they're looking for that safety and able to be safe towards the other residents as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And if people have questions about the safe house, they can always ask on our helpline, which we'll say the number in just a minute. But I do think another important topic that comes up is that we live at a time where these services are widely available, and it hasn't always been this way. Although our safe house has been around for 40 years and a lot of others have as well, across the country and across the world, there's so many free supports for survivors of domestic and sexual violence, and it hasn't always been that way. But we're at a time where the need has really increased. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, Joelle.
Definitely. Since the pandemic, we have seen a big increase across our county, across the whole state of New Jersey. Organizations like ours have seen a 3 to 5-fold increase in the number of people asking for safe shelter in the safe house services. People are coming to us having experienced more severe violence, right? They have more complex needs. Maybe they've been isolated for longer, and so maybe don't have the same social support networks, right? So we've adjusted some things by starting some new programs like our Domestic Violence Housing First program, our Financial Empowerment Center, to provide some support. But we've also recently launched a GoFundMe to kick off our journey towards a new safe house so that we can continue meeting the safety needs of survivors that come to us.
Absolutely. So if you'd like to contribute to the GoFundMe for the new safe house, the link is below in the description. I'll also add it on the podcast website. But we also wanted to say too that, if you're 18 or over and you're fleeing domestic violence or sexual violence, you can call or text the Safe and Sound Somerset helpline for support. And that number is 866-685-1122. That's for Somerset County, New Jersey. If you live elsewhere in the state of New Jersey, we will connect you to your local organization. And if you're outside of New Jersey, which some people watching this will be, you can also contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline if you're in the United States. Was there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up today, Joelle?
Yeah, one thing I think it's important to kind of get across is that there's no shame in seeking services, right? We are there with support, supportive listening, services, tools, right? We understand that the violence is the fault of the harm doer, right? It's their fault. It's not the fault of the survivor. This is a tool and a resource that should be part of someone's toolkit, right? Not as something that's shameful or a last resort, right? We're here to support you no matter where you are in your journey to safety.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Joelle.
Thanks for having me.